Hey everybody, it's me, Deronda. I thought I would log in and share a little story time. So this story is called From Intern to Assistant Head, now to Consultant and Coach. So my journey in as a private school educator. I was scrolling through um, LinkedIn and I saw another private school educator announcing that they are going to be ahead of school in July of 2026. And I looked at their career path and noticed that the line to being head of school was not a straight one. They even had, excuse me, I'm looking at my notes. They even had to step back for a few years and definitely had to move around the country a bit. I know some who even have had to or chose to gain some additional work experience outside of the country before becoming a head of school. Well, as I was applauding, giving all the snaps to this person, I thought about my own journey and how I started in independent schools. And I found myself going into like a dream sequence, if you will. I started in independent schools back in 1998. I worked in private day schools, boarding schools, etc. After being educated in public schools myself. I went to public high school, um, but I was recently interviewed for a podcast that's going to come out tomorrow, I think. And she asked a question by Christine Gilmore. And she asked me a question about my journey. And this kind of is what precipitated me. So when you were working in schools, or did you, were there things in my past that kind of drew me to where I ended up in my profession? And I had to say yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I'll post a link to that and share that out when it comes out. But I've worked in many, many areas of school. I started out as an intern, as I said. The title, I got hired to work as an intern while I was still completing my degree in computer science um, and business, and then worked as a department chair and faculty advisor and teacher, and um, worked my way up. Worked as a dean, and um, my last full-time job in independent school, in private school, was at a day school where I served as assistant head for diversity, equity, and belonging. Now, my career has had its ups and downs. You know, I did a couple of those cross country moves. I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast, and I've moved a lot in my life, and I don't mind it. I really enjoy it, and I try to learn uh, from each move, try to be strategic about each move so that um, I follow a podcaster, and the title of his podcast is Try Life On. And that's all I'm doing. I'm trying this life on, things that fit me. I keep in my closet, things that don't fit me have to go. Well, one of the probably biggest obstacles or experiences that I had happened to me in 2023. And that's when news broke that I was involved in a wrongful termination lawsuit. When I tell you there's nothing like Googling your name, do it. Try that. Google your name. When I taught computer classes, I used to always say, um, the things that are out on the internet stay on the internet, right? And they can cause you harm. You do a foolish thing. I remember I I worked with a guy, And when I Googled his name, he was mooning somebody. So I saw his whole naked behind. Yep. It sticks with you. But I'm much more than that. And so it's taken me a couple of years for me to get beyond my own personal shame and embarrassment of having this, you Google my name and that comes up. It doesn't come up and say, man, she's a loving mother. She is a grandmother. She is an educator who has advocated for people. She worked with boards, and I worked senior administrative levels. I ran summer programs. I was dorm head. All those things don't come up. Only the one kind of black eye. But we're going to move on past that. I'm determined to move past that. And my YouTube channel and my social media content where I love to videotape myself while I'm taking my daily walks. Daily, I walk about 6 miles here in Virginia. I've got a nice little route. I do 2 loops around, and it comes up to about 15,000 steps. You know, I read somewhere that you don't really need to do 10,000 steps a day, but I thought, will it hurt me if I did 10,000 or more? Hashtag no. That's my answer, and I'm sticking with it. So this video is also to kind of announce that I'm ready to stick my my whole foot in my whole 25 years of working in independent school experience into offering my services to educators who might be working in independent schools, who might find that they're in a lonely space, that they don't really understand the climate that they have gotten hired into. If you're working in a boarding school, I did that for a long time. I understand your pain and would love to have schools hire me, bring me in to partner with the school if they're building community building and belonging programs. You're trying to figure out how to help your faculty know how to work together collaboratively. I can do that. I would love to work one-on-one with educators who might need some additional support at any level. As I said, I was an intern and I was assistant head. I've gone through the NAIS process, uh, the DLI. Completed my Aspiring Heads program, and I qualified to do this thing, and I want to help people. So the only way I can help people is to put myself out here and say, hey, I want to help y'all. So the name that I came up with, and this is what I hope to do also, is to share my journey to going from a W-2 employee to a consultant working for myself, and some of the challenges, the ups and downs of that as I kind of stumble through. I feel like I can make it. I have a lot of people in my corner that are like, yeah, of course, go for it. And I'm like, but I've never done this before. And it's so awesome to be at this stage of my life, my third act, as they say. I'm calling it my third act. And figuring out ways that I can be useful and helpful and help myself, and not just, sit around watching television all day. That's not fun. So I'm going to build a website. I'm going to continue to do my YouTube channel. I'll do my Instagram and all those other social media platforms. You'll see me out in these streets, and hopefully 5 or 6 of you will hire me to come and work at your school. I continue to work with I Change Collaborative out of Atlanta, Georgia, where we do affinity group training and those types of things. And I want to keep doing that as well and supporting that organization. So This is my beginning. It's the beginning of summer. It's officially the beginning of summer. And this is my coming out. This is my debutante party to myself. I threw to myself for myself. So reach out to me. I'm going to put um, my business email address. If you know me, you probably have my other email address, my Gmail address. Um, phone number, all of that. I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling this summer. And so I may be in a corner of your world and pop up and be like, hey, did you know that you could hire me to help support your organization, to help support your school, to build community, to help support people who might feel less, kind of feel alone, right, in their leadership journey. I think I'm good at that. um, I've done a lot of it with, like I said, sitting at the senior admin table, board of trustees, alums, parents, admissions, development, all of the things. I hope I'll hear from you. Okay, this is me coming out. Bye.